buffer and make the gel, and we're gonna have to do a couple other things. So does everybody have this tube that says 50x TAE buffer?
Yes.
Okay, and then everybody has the agarose. Okay, and then you should have a gray 3D printed comb and a like a soap box. Okay. All right, so everybody has that. Super. And then you guys should have some kind of container to keep your buffer in. And do you guys have microwaves available, or are you running with hot plates?
I have a microwave.
Is there anybody that doesn't have a microwave? Sounds like everybody has.
What was I think I might be missing something. You mentioned the sponge box, something of that nature. Can you show that again?
Like the soap box, the battery should have been in it. I'm trying
Okay,
to.
I don't know that I don't think I have that.
So it should have been in mine. There was the batteries and the small tubes with colors in them.
Okay, yes, I have it now. Thank you. I'm just blind and I don't follow directions.
No, it's okay. So I'm gonna try to.
It says agarose, but then I've got empty tubes.
You don't need the empty tubes right now. You just need the
Oh,
one
the
that
ones
says,
they're inside with this. Okay.
yes. Yep. You just need the one that says agarose.
I'm catching up.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. It's so sometimes I get so like the end of the day, I'm so cashed out. So hopefully everything
Just saw empty tubes and was thinking, where's the colors?
Okay. So here's what I think is going to be the easiest. So last week we learned about the equation for C1V1. So I did some messing around with our gel box today. So I think the first thing that I'm going to have us do is make 100 milliliters of 1x TAE from this initial stock 50x buffer. So if you remember from last week, our C1, can you guys see that? C1 V1 equals C2 V2. We have an initial stock solution of 50x. That's our C1. Are you guys okay with this? I feel like we're going fast, but we also don't have a ton of time left. So, and then we are going to solve for V1, and we always want to dilute this stuff down to a 1x. And I'm going to ask you guys make 100 milliliters. And the reason we're going to end up making 2 rounds of this, but I thought it would be easier to do 100 at a time because you only have the 100 graduated cylinder. Are you guys okay with that? All right. So if we solve for V1, how many milliliters of this TAE do we need?
2, correct?
2. Absolutely. So remember, you would take 1 times 100 and divide it by 50. So 2 milliliters of the 50x TAE. And if you look at your graduated cylinder, what we'll probably want to do is add water up to a certain value, like maybe 30 or 40. And then you can add in 2 milliliters of your TAE. And your graduated cylinder should be able to support that but it doesn't go down below 5, so we can't put the TAE in first.
There's like a smaller one too.
Did she send a smaller one?
Yeah.
Oh, super. Well then, you can use 2 for that, or you can use the big graduated cylinder, but we just need 2 milliliters of TAE. And then we need to raise the total volume up to 100. So is everybody about ready with their 100 milliliters of what is now 1x TAE? Yes. And next week, guys, we'll have a little time. We can actually talk about what TAE is and what it does and how it helps everything. But we're just gonna make it today and get the gel made today. Okay, so it's everybody's good. 100 milliliters of 1x TAE. All right. So what we're gonna do now is and this is where I guess it gets a little bit weird, but most gels for like common high school labs are usually run where you make either like a 0.8 or a 1.0 agarose gel. And have any of you guys had experience running gel electrophoresis before? So give me 2 seconds.
Not since college.
Yeah,
Which
not
we
since
know
college.
yesterday. We all know college was yesterday. Said sarcastically.
Okay, I just stole one of my students. So we are actually making gels in class right now. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but essentially what you guys are going to make is this kind of like gelatin jiggler. This is a 1% gel. And then where you put your DNA samples and stuff are these little wells here at the top. And that's the purpose of your gray comb, is to end up pouring these slots that you can pipette in different color samples. Does that kind of put the end product into perspective? Okay. So in order to do that, we need to make sure that we're good with the math. I don't know if I can zoom in, but basically, when you do a 1% gel, if you have 100 milliliters, 1 gram is 1% of 100. Are you guys okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
So, based on the lab and kind of what we need, we're gonna waste some, but in order to keep that 1%, we're gonna take our 1/100 and make that equivalent to 0.8 grams over 80 milliliters. And if you look at what Megan sent you, it actually says 0.8 grams of agarose. So she's already weighed out 0.8 grams in here for us.
So it's 0.8 for 100 mils.
It's 0.8 for 80 milliliters.
For 80 milliliters, excuse me.
Yeah, so 0.8 is 1% of 80.
Okay.
Okay. And then do you guys have a microwavable beaker? So if you have your microwavable beaker, I have to grab mine.
All I have is this plastic one. Is this microwavable?
So sorry, I missed that.
I'm assuming the plastic one is gonna be
The plastic, this is perfectly fine in the microwave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you guys could, please take your 0.5 or 0.8 grams of agarose and pour it in your beaker. And then we are gonna take 80 milliliters of what we just made and pour that in with the agarose.
Do we need to keep the little container that Agros came in?
You do not. Okay. I think I actually poured like 81, but and then if you look at your beaker now, you have the agarose powder, and then what you have is a 1x TAE solution. And this is going to sound silly, but this is probably one of the more dangerous things that you can do with your students is making agarose gels. Because in a minute, we're going to get up and we're going to have to microwave this for little bits of bursts. So this would be where that PPE of wearing goggles, you might want like a hot glove, but you're gonna microwave this, and what can happen is this agarose gel can flash, this agarose can flash boil. So if you just put 2 minutes or something and you just let the microwave run, it would blow all out, boil over out all into your microwave. And then when you pull it out, if you swirl it and the sides are still hot, like in glass, it can kind of like reboil. So flash boiling, I mean, we have Bunsen burners and that's kind of a nightmare. Like if you smell burnt hair, but flash boiling is also right up there with burnt hair for me in terms of my stress.
Excuse
Right.
me.
Yes.
I think I missed the beginning part. So I took some water in this beaker. What more do I have to add before adding the agarose? I don't want to mess up things. That's why.
No, that's okay. Thanks for asking. So in your flask, what you should have is 2 milliliters of this TAE,
Got you.
and you should have 98 milliliters of water.
Got you. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I can add anything first.
Yeah, because I believe Megan sent you a small graduated cylinder. So if you wanted to do the 2 or just read off this would be fine as well. But essentially 2 milliliters of TAE and 98 of water.
All right. Thank you.
And then once you have that made, that's what you're going to put in the beaker with your agarose powder.
All right.
Okay.
Mhm.
You're welcome. So when you're microwaving this, I would recommend microwaving it, like I was saying, in like maybe 10 to 15-second bursts. And then when you're looking in the microwave, you'll maybe see it boil a little on the edge. And that's when you'd want to stop it and kind of pull it out and swirl it a little bit. You know you're done microwaving when it's like clear, like you don't see any of the white powder, gritty looking solution. All of that should be dissolved, and that's when you know that you're done microwaving it. So if you guys are ready to start microwaving it, you can go ahead. And I'll just make sure you guys don't have questions, but maybe 10 to 15 seconds at a time.
How long does it, how many of those 10 to 15-second increments does it typically take?
So sometimes it might take like 30, 45 seconds or a minute. Like, you know how your microwave, maybe it's just me, maybe this is not a thing, but I feel like my microwave gets warmed up kind of, and then I might like work a little bit faster the next group or the next group.
Okay.
But it shouldn't take too long. I would say a minute-ish.
I'm sorry, how do you say, you know, when it's ready? You said when it's clear, we didn't stir it or anything, did we? Or just kind of swivel it
No,
around like
yeah, you can just kind of swirl it around, but it will be clear. Like none of the white powdery stuff will still be there.
15-second intervals? Okay.
Mhm.
And again, how much of agarose should be added?
So Megan sent you a little tube and it says it's 0.8 grams. So you can use the whole thing.
All right.
And then you're just gonna add 80 milliliters of what you had just made to the agarose powder. Last year we were doing this part at home. We weren't at school. And I went to go microwave. And then our daughter started asking questions and got totally sidetracked, and agarose kind of melted in our microwave.
This doesn't have to actually boil, does it?
You might see it boil a little.
But I mean, if it's clear and it hasn't boiled yet, is that okay? It's still done, isn't it?
It should be fine.
All right.
Do we keep it in the beaker or do we pour it into that little container
Right.
once it's done?
So as soon as your agarose solution is done and it's clear and you can't see any of the white powder, what you're gonna want to do is this year they made new combs, these gray combs, and they don't fit super. So if you try to put it in down to that, like the second notch, I don't know if you guys can see where mine is.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't stick in, like it doesn't just lay in well. So you kind of have to jam it in. So I jammed
Okay,
it
but
in.
we pour
Yeah, but
we pour our solution into the little container.
yeah,
That the
you
batteries are
will,
in?
but you're probably gonna want to get your comb taped up first.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys can tell, I have a piece of tape running up and over the comb to hold it in place so that it's pushed down further. Can you guys tell that or no?
Okay, my internet must not be doing, I'm not seeing any pictures of you, but I think it's just my internet. So I'm not,
Yeah, I
I
can't see,
hear
the-
everything, but
I can't see the tape right there.
So yeah, the tape,
okay, yeah.
I have the clear tape. You can use masking tape. It really doesn't matter what kind of tape, but we just had to use it to hold this comb down sturdy.
How far from the edge do we put the comb?
I mean, maybe like a fingernail.
Okay. So as close as we can.
Yeah, about a fingernail should be good.
And mine doesn't go really deep. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, so that's the issue we were having. So today, Mark and I were kind of messing around with it, and the combs were a little wide, so we did the tape. But then the other thing is getting the gel up high enough that the combs are actually going to make the holes. So
Right.
that's why we're going to have to kind of like play with it a little bit today, but I think we worked it out
Okay.
just fine. So as soon as you have your comb taped and and sturdy, out of the 80 milliliters of agarose solution that you microwaved, you're going to want to pour like 65 milliliters or 70 milliliters so that it's just coming up to let me see. So it needs to be far enough up those little pegs that it will actually make a whole indentation for you to put your samples next week. So
Okay.
if I had to put a Sharpie on it, go figure out. I'm gonna find a Sharpie. So if I had to put a Sharpie on it, I'll take this comb out. I would probably make sure that you had, you know, like this much covered with that agarose gel. And it should be maybe like 60, 65, 70 milliliters should get you covered about that much.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes.
Okay. So as soon as you have that and you want to pour your melted agarose in, you guys can do that. So that it goes up those pegs in the comb a little bit. And then basically you're just gonna let it sit until it's solidified. I'm sorry? The
Hey,
last
is
little
the
bit.
extra gonna just be thrown away?
The extra is unfortunately going to be thrown away. I wouldn't throw it down your sink because it's going to harden. I would wait till it cools and then probably just like take a knife or a fork or something and just scrape out the solidified piece and throw it in the trash.
Okay. Does it mess it up if the what's in the little soap box is too thick?
What's in the soap? Oh, you mean the gel that
Yeah.
you're making?
Mhm.
So that's kind of the problem that we ran into with this new comb is that since it doesn't go down very far in the soap box, but you have to bring the gel up enough to make the wells.
Mhm.
It didn't leave a lot of room to put the buffer on top. So
Oh,
that's why we were
gotcha.
kind of playing around with like the volume of the actual agarose to pour in and still leave room for buffer next week.
I just feel like I used way more than 65 or 70 milliliters.
I guess once you pour it, you should have probably
I've got about 15 to 20 milliliters left.
yeah, I think that's good. And
Okay.
on your if you look from the
I
side,
do too.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I've got it covered like you showed with the Sharpie. It just
okay.
took more than the 65. I was just trying to make sure I wasn't doing something wrong.
Okay. Yeah, no, that sounds perfect what you did.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so then you'll have your once you pour it, then you just kind of let it sit, and it's going to take a little while for it to solidify, but you'll know when it solidifies because it'll kind of have that like opaque look like what I was showing you earlier with this gel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But then while that is solidifying, if you want to get another round of 100 milliliters again, because we'll need to pour a little bit of our TAE solution onto the gel when it's solidified, and then you'll need to save the rest for next week.
So just do the same thing we just did right now.
Yep, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take
2 and 98.
2 and 98, exactly.
Go ahead and do that now. Okay.
Yeah, if you want to, while we're waiting for the agarose to solidify.
So the
Can we
20
pour
was
what's
left.
left?
Go ahead and dump.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
Could
you
we
can
just pour it
dump
in
down.
our bigger container that we're
If
saving
you
for
want,
next week?
if you want to save it, but next week we only need enough. So if you guys want to, if you want to go and reduce the volume that you make now, all you need to do next week is cover from the top of the gel to the top of the soap dish. So it's minimal, like 30 milliliters. Like it's not much at all. So if you don't want to make 100 and you want to make less, if you want to make 50, then you could do that instead. And then you're not wasting as much of the TAE. So it's kind of up to you.
I have the 20 left over from the stuff that we poured. Would that be enough or is that not quite enough?
Let me hang on one sec. So if I take 100 milliliters exactly and pour it into my soap dish. I spilled a little, but hey, that's okay. But I don't know if you guys can tell actually how much it filled up, but there's maybe like, I don't know, a couple millimeters space from the top of the soap dish. Huh? Thank you. That's for Friday? Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so what am I doing again? Sorry, I went to go find the lid.
No, that's
So
okay.
do we throw away this solution that we made with?
You can, or you can save it and add to it.
Is this something we can do next week or do we need to do it today?
I mean, if you want to make the extra buffer next week, the schedule probably allows, I mean, it's so fast just to add. Or if you want to make it right before we get on the Zoom, you could do that too. If you don't want to let it sit for a week. But the gel has to be made today because it does take a while for it to solidify.
Okay, so it's 98 of the water and 2 of this.
Yes.
Okay.
So when the gel solidifies, how do we store it for next week?
So when the gel solidifies, you should be able to carefully remove the comb.
Right?
And then what you'll want to do is put a little bit of that TAE that you
Mhm.
made on the gel to kind of keep it moist. And then you can just close the soap box and put it in a plastic baggie.
Doesn't have to be refrigerated or anything.
If you want to put it in the fridge, I pulled this out of the fridge.
Okay.
But sometimes we'll just make them the day before in class and then leave them and they'll just grab them when they come back in.
Okay.
But you definitely want to close it and put it in a baggie. And if you want to put a little bit of TAE, because if you just left it, you know, there's so much water in it. And so the water would evaporate out and then it would be a more concentrated gel than 1%.
Mhm. Okay.
Is anybody's gel starting to solidify yet?
It's closing at 6,
Mm,
and we do have that.
Yeah,
soccer
mine has.
No, not yet.
I apologize. I have a question.
No worries.
So the second round that we did, I just pour that into the plastic beaker, or I just,
If you can pour it into the plastic beaker and maybe saran wrap it, or if you have a different lid with a jar that you can save it in,
okay, I saran wrap it. Okay, thank you.
you're very welcome.
All right.
Okay, thank you. And then again, when your gel is solidified and you can kind of touch it and feel that it's not squishy at all, or it doesn't like really jiggle in the soap dish. If you want to remove your comb out, if you want to give it longer, you can, but at the end, you'll want to remove the comb and put a little bit of your TAE on it that you made, and then just shut the soap dish. And I think in an email, Megan said you could put it in a baggie.
And then the last one we just did, it doesn't have the aggregates in it?
It does not.
Okay, I
Nope.
was making-
Yeah, so you guys just made your extra TAE, but like,
This one is empty now, the aggregates. I'm
Ye-
sorry, I'm saying it wrong.
it's okay. Agarose.
Agarose.
Yes,
So it's empty, right, from the first one? I used all
it
of
is,
it?
and you
Okay.
can throw it
All right.
away. Yep.
Okay.
But
Now, if
yeah,
it's
go
not
ahead.
solidified before I have to leave, is it okay to leave it tonight?
It is. I don't know if you're like most of the schools in our county, but we have roaches. And sometimes I feel like I come in and find roach nibbles out of the agarose.
I'll put some saran wrap over. I'll make a tent
So-
over.
So I
Or
don't
I'll put
know.
it in a bag. I'll put
I
it in a
don't
large
think-
gallon bag.
Yeah, I don't think we're the only school with roach problems, but
Considering my floor went for a month without being swept.
Okay.
You know,
yeah. So if you could cover it, that would be great. And then you can
I'll get
just
it back.
take the comb out and do the rest tomorrow.
Yeah. My
You could
overachiever
probably
son is
even-
complaining that he can't leave yet.
Yeah, you might even be able to slide the whole thing into the baggie.
Yeah, I've got a big bag in the back.
Okay. You guys have any of, go ahead.
Once we take the comb out, what do we do next?
If you can take the comb out,
I'm not at that step yet,
Okay.
but
Then you'll just pour a little bit of your TAE
Mhm.
on top. And then you can shut the soap dish container and put it in a baggie.
okay.
And that should keep everything like nice and moist and fine. And all you're gonna do next week is just put more TAE on top.
Okay. And that's the buffer. That's what that
Yes.
is.
It's
Okay.
the 1X TAE buffer that we made.
Anybody needs some? I got a whole bunch in the back room.
Okay.
Catch.
I'm sorry.
So
All right.
do you guys have any other questions about where we're at for a stopping point?
Yeah, I just have one.
Okay.
The final step, you said once it begins to solidify, then I put some of the, I don't have any extra mixtures left. Do I just put the TAE
No,
over?
it honestly should be fine. Just in the, yeah, you'll want to put some of that, what was in your beaker.
Okay.
Just a little bit of that. You don't need to put the concentrated 50X on it.
Okay.
I'm all
But when
out.
it's done, I just take when this is done tomorrow, when I come back, I just take the comb out, close it up.
Right. And you want to make sure that it is solidified before you take the comb out.
Yeah.
So if you're hesitant at all, I would probably
Just
try
wait.
to scoot it in a baggie and take the comb out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have anything left over to put over it. Once it solidifies, I guess I poured that out.
Didn't you have some with saran wrap covered?
Well, the one I just made without the one for next week?
Yeah, so you're not gonna need all of that for next week. So
Okay,
if
so
you want to
I'll
pour a
put that.
little bit of that on top, that would be perfect.
Once it's solid though, and I do that before I leave today?
Once it's solid. So
Once
if
it's
you
solid
don't,
tomorrow.
yeah, so if you don't think it's perfectly solid today, then just do it in the morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the second time the solution that we are making, we just have to add this, right?
2 milliliters of that, yeah. And that's what you'll save for next week. But we had a really good question. It just says Lynette, but you'll, like, if you wanted to make that, you can wait till next week.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
So you're welcome. And Jeff, do you want to add anything right now? I was just worried about it solidifying and stuff. So like just jumping right in.
Yeah, not that I can think of. Yeah, it helps to make sure it's totally solidified before you put buffer on it. Yeah.
But we don't need to do that till next week, right? Adding more buffer.
You can put a little buffer on it to help
Okay.
keep it like moist and stuff because it's gonna sit for a whole week.
Okay.
So
So take the comb, so wait till tomorrow, check it, make sure it's solidified, take out the comb. And then add a little bit of buffer on top.
and then shut the dish and
Shut
put
lid.
it in a baggie. Yep, exactly.
Okay. I think my 8th period brain can remember
I know, right?
that.
When as soon as we're done here, our daughter has the first like championship from the season softball game.
I was gonna say
Like,
softball, it's gotta be softball.
it's a 7-something game, so we're not gonna get home till.
My son's trying to make plans. He's in the drama play, he's in chorus, and he's in honors chorus, and he's starting swim season.
Oh my
I have
gosh.
no idea. I'm like, just tell me where you need to be when. I don't know.
Right,
I'm in my room.
exactly. Yeah.
You know where to find me. I don't know.
Hey, Trish, I got a real quick
Yes.
question to clarify. This is my 98 and 2. Okay, this can be saved for next week, or do I need to pour a little bit onto my soap dish, or?
If your gel in your soap dish is completely solidified, you can pour a little on it.
Okay, don't need to pour a whole lot, and then save the rest for next week?
And save the next for the
Okay.
rest for next week. Yes.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
good. That's what I thought. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
So
Trish,
once
what do
we
you
have all
teach?
that down, are we good?
If that's all done, then you're good. Yes. And Michelle, I have AP biology, AP environmental science, and then I have we're on a block schedule, and then I have 2 sections of biotech. So I have the 2 biotech pathway classes, essentials and applications. I don't teach the intro to healthcare, which is technically the first biotech pathway class. So like at our school, they can take intro to healthcare, and then they can either go the biotech pathway and take essentials and applications, or they can go like the allied health and take that pathway of classes.
I don't think our high school offers a biotech pathway, or
Yeah, there's like they were mentioning Stan. I know there's a program at Marietta City High School. There's one at Wheeler High School. There's one at our high school. I know there's another one, but I can't remember where it is.
I'm at Effingham Career College and Career Academy, and we have a biotech program.
Yeah, and I know there's another career academy that does, but through the high school, it's under the CTAE program. You done, Mark? Okay.
So if we've done this, we can exit.
Yeah, if you're done,
Are we done?
if you're ready to finish up tomorrow, then yeah, I hope you guys have a great night.
All right, thank you so very much.
Thank
You're
you.
very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, one last quick question.
Yes.
Is it required that we refrigerate it? I heard you say put it in a Ziploc bag and refrigerate it, or does it stay better if we do that?
I don't know. Maybe Jeff can answer. I don't know if it really matters unless he's gone.
It probably doesn't matter that much. We always stored it for, if it's up to a week, it's going to be as long as a week, it might be better in the fridge.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit of maybe a little overkill with the baggie and the TAE and stuff, but I don't.
Well, we'll keep it safe.
Yes. But if you guys don't have any other questions, and you're free to leave tonight's session.
Reclaim a few minutes.
I can't believe Mark finished first.
Yeah, they were quick.
Lynette said she used to live next to you at Harris. Oh, cool. That's cool. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, we're in Tift County now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like 2005.
Right. Yeah, she remembered, she saw your name, she goes, "You're not gonna believe this." And so she remembered you and your husband.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a little girl.
Yeah, she's 23 now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Holy,
Yeah.
she was like 5.
Right. We got another daughter now who is in 8th grade.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. I used to teach in Paulden and over at Scoggins, and she taught at Moses.
I remember because she did the TAP program.